Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Apparently, the captions decided to not do the thing because they're the captions.
Hey, captions, do the thing.
Do the thing. There they are. There we
Hey, there
go.
they are.
There we go. Hi, everybody. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. Welcome to the channel. This is my wonderful, fabulous guest for the day, the wonderfully fabulous DM Jazzy Hands Eugenio. You get to introduce yourself and say
Oh,
all the good things.
how very exciting. Hi, everybody. Yes, I am Eugenio. I'm DM Jazzy Hands on the internet. I am a streamer and podcaster and tabletop role playing game designer and writer and GM. In a former life, I'm a theater artist, and that's me. I don't know. I'm excited to build this house.
Yes, and full disclosure for everybody watching along at home or who've watched a couple of these before, this is for an upcoming Southern Gothic Urban Fantasy game that I am building called Carousel Court. And the wonderful thing about this is I found because a lot of things are available on the internet and libraries are wonderful things, and you can find a 1945 subdivision plot map that actually exists.
Amazing.
That would be like, oh yeah, on the plot map it's 195 houses. I'm not building 195 houses, y'all.
There's no need. Some
No
of them
need.
can be empty. That's okay.
Yeah, we can. Not everybody has moved in yet.
That's right. That's right.
But I wanted to add some color and flavor and a bunch of different people and have this world be more lived in. So I talked to a bunch of these wonderful, fabulous friends that I have to say, come help me with this. So because I know Eugenio is wonderfully, wonderfully busy, I made a little bit easier in which we did the starting roles for him already. But we're still going to build, if you watch any of these before, we're still going to do the whole build on the storyline and as much of that as we can get on the timeline that we have. But so you know and are aware, the starting numbers for this house is an HOA of a 22, which is puts you at your house is well kept, but that garden is nothing to write home about.
Okay, wait, can I ask, since we're
Yeah,
going through these numbers, since we're starting, can I
yeah.
just ask what the scale of these numbers is? Like,
Okay, so
what are
you
we
start
like?
with zero. The lowest you can go is
Okay,
zero, and then you can
okay.
go up to 71 effectively.
71 effectively. Okay, great, got it.
And you can't go into the negative, although you might. I had Elaine Ryan on. She does beautiful art. She legitimately yesterday rolled every single negative outcome that you could have for a house, and it's only because you can't go into a negative
Uh-huh.
that she was like, you got to zero in
Zero.
three values.
Incredible.
And I was like, technically you're at a negative 11, but you can't go into the negative, so you're only
Right.
at zero.
Zero.
You're only at zero. But this is yes. So the where you are, HOA is at a
Uh-huh.
22, which
Okay.
is you have gardens, houses. Where is it? Well kept. The house is well kept, but the garden's nothing to write home about.
Uh-huh.
Influence at a 19 is the debutantes talked about you once.
Oh. Oh. Right to the quick. Okay, got it.
Wealth is a 28, which is lower middle class. You have a savings account, and there's even some money
Okay.
in it depending on the month.
Mood. Okay.
Your people are at a 25, which is you, your spouse, your 2.5 kids, your parents, in laws, and your unwed siblings. However much you want to do with that. Land is at an 18. Your house is small, but you own it, and the land it sits on, free and clear.
Okay. That's not so bad.
Yep. With a reputation of 20, bless their hearts, your family's historical scandals still influence opinions, but your attempts to overcome have been noted.
Okay. And we're like almost ready to level up on reputation to something a little better.
Hopefully, it goes up and not down.
Uh-huh.
And then the final stat is magic, which at a 21 is a established family with a small wellspring of magic that occasionally misses a generation. At least that's where
Okay.
you started.
Sure.
But historically, we then have a number of historical events that happened, and I rolled
quite a number.
I rolled quite a number. It is not the most.
Really?
It is not the most. There were technically 2 tiers above this that you could have gone.
Oh,
Or
okay. Well,
3.
we're doing okay.
3 tiers above this. Well, 2. I knew that because I was working with an alternate history of our actual world, I needed to pick an arbitrary starting point for this timeline, so I didn't have all of human history to deal with. Otherwise, I would be way too much. And I didn't want to say that history started at first contact between Europe and the Americas, because that wasn't.
Sure.
So I picked 1000 CE as the arbitrary starting point. But then as you moved closer, all of these dates that I've picked are dates that had some impact on the area that will eventually be called Savannah, Georgia.
Got it. Okay.
A lot of the later events are a little bit more obvious. 1526 is where we start with your family. That was picked because 1526 is the founding of the San Miguel colony by the Spanish in South Carolina. It's important for 2 reasons. One, it's the first Spanish colony in North America. Well, not permanent colony. It gets horribly destroyed because it's the first colony with African slaves, and it's also the first home of the first slave revolt.
Oh, that's what that is. That what that 1566 thing is?
1526, yeah.
Sorry. No. I saw the next event is 40 years later and is a revolt. So I thought maybe that was
okay. So 1566 is on there because it's the first permanent colony on the East Coast. But the events that are next to them are the actual events that I rolled for this family.
Oh, for the family. Oh, that's even better. Okay.
So if you look on that house sheet, if you go all the way to the left, and it's like B38 or something, you see a table, and it's those events on that table.
Here we go. Okay, I hadn't gone to this tab. I see.
It's okay.
I see.
On that table, I rolled the events for each of the years for you.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And now we just need you to start rolling the modifiers that we're going to put into this spreadsheet. And luckily, it's already set, so it does the math for us. All right. So 1526, you had an eccentric ruler that started your family. This could be both positive or negative. And did I give you? Oh, I'm going to give you. Realized I forgot to give you one thing, and that is the roll 20 to make it slightly easier for you.
Even better. Heck yeah. All right,
make it slightly easier, better for you to roll, particularly when we get to stuff like this, where the roll effect of this eccentric ruler means that your family has a effect of 6 minus 2d6 to every stat. Which leads to either a positive, I think it's either a swing of either +4 or -6 is the swing it could have.
Okay.
So we need that rolled 7 times.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's 6 minus 2d6?
Yep, it's literally
Okay.
I see that, Hawkeye. Thank you very much for that wonderful luck point for me. That means that I'm at 6. So one of the things I did with channel points is for my games, you can have, if it's during the game, the chat can give luck points to the players. If it's not during the game and it's just one of my streams, then the luck point goes to me as the GM.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. Roll. Oh God. Roll 6 plus.
Minus.
6 minus 2d6.
Yeah. All
right. So what's the first one? HOA, right?
Yep, HOA, your power.
Okay. 3.
It went up.
-3. Shit, -3.
-3 went down.
Yeah, I rolled real well. It's such a shame that that's not what I wanted.
No, that is the problem.
So my HOA 3 rating is going down. Okay, great. Love it.
But it's only the first beginning.
That's right. Okay, next up is influence.
Yep.
And that's a 1, +1.
So influence went up.
Heck yeah. Next one is what? Wealth. Oh boy. Oh, also a 1.
Money going up.
So our eccentric ruler made us some money.
Yeah, just a teeny bit.
Just a teeny bit. Okay, however, our people, apparently he killed some folks because it went down by 2.
Or they just happened to die through his choices, or their choices.
Yeah, well, okay, that sounds more vague and probably better.
Look, there's been some interesting things that have come out of these.
Okay, we made money, but we lost a lot of land. It's a -4 for land.
Yep.
Woo. Okay, and then what do we got left? Reputation and magic. Okay,
Reputation.
so reputation goes up by 1. It's another positive 1.
Yep. And
our
magic.
magic goes down by 1, minus
Okay.
1.
So, lost a lot of land, lost a few people, lost some power, probably from losing those people and magic, but you gained reputation, wealth, and influence.
Listen, reputation, power, and influence. And then lost. Oh, yeah. So I mean, this was a like terrible ruler who everyone liked in the moment.
Yep. And that's why we're gonna see what happens. I love this way this works out. And when we come back to it,
very cool. Yeah.
When we go back to it, we'll see how that story kind of develops.
That's
so
very cool.
In 1566, there was an invasion or revolt somehow that had the effect of giving you not so great minus 1d6 to HOA, wealth, and people, and a minus 2d6 to reputation.
Gods above. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me.
So that's a total of 5d6, but it's 1, 1, 1.
Okay, now I have both of these up, and I can actually see multiple things at once.
Yeah, I've got.
All right, so this invasion. Let's do the HOA rating, which is minus 1d6. So our HOA goes down by 6.
Look, you can go up. Well, actually, you will go up because you have a couple positives in here.
Blessings. We're gonna need them. All right. Our wealth goes down by only 1. Okay, that's nice at least.
Yep.
Next up is our people go down by also only 1.
So you lost that wealth. I
really only roll the tops and bottoms of this die, apparently.
And then reputation is down by 2d6.
Ugh. So we lose 9 reputation. Holy poop.
Yeah, that's not good. But 1607, things get better. You gain favor with someone.
How?
We don't know. We'll find out. That's the story. Someone in your family does something for someone powerful and they gain favor with them, gaining positive 1d6 to HOA, influence, land, and reputation.
All right. HOA goes up by 2.
Okay.
Influence goes up by 5.
That's good.
That's nice. Land goes up by 6.
You gained. Somebody paid you in land.
I need the reputation, please and thank you. It's okay. Well, it's a 3, so it's about as middle of the road as I could ask for.
But it's going up.
That's right. It's right. It's true. It's positive. So I really should complain at all. Okay, I like it. All right, we had a good year that year.
Yeah, unfortunately,
what?
1665 was not so great. That was a defeat.
Okay.
Which means it's a
lot of minus d6s in every. Okay, but the good news is I don't lose any reputation for being defeated.
You lose everything else, but not
everything else. But I do think my reputation is in the biggest trouble right now. So,
well, technically, that's numeric. It's power and reputation, HOA and reputation.
Oh Lord! All right, well, here we go. Okay, so what is this? Is a defeat?
Yep.
Okay, so HOA rating only goes down by 2. Let's see. Influence is down by 3.
So basically, you lost that HOA positive that you got.
Yep. Okay, that's fine. Maybe somebody ran for HOA president, and that's how they got defeated. Let's see. Wealth is only a minus 1.
Okay, still doing okay.
So whatever it was, we didn't put much money in it when we lost. Maybe that's why we lost. We didn't put any money into campaigning for that presidency. Defeat. We lost 3 in people.
Somebody died.
Oof. Blessings. 5 in land.
And then in magic.
And then magic is only 2.
It's not horrible. Unfortunately, horrible is upcoming.
No.
So 1733, the year the colony of Georgia was founded.
Aha.
There's a small thing that happens. Y'all suffer legitimately the worst roll on this table.
Oh no!
Which is a doom.
A doom! Oh shit, okay.
It's minus 2d6 to every stat.
Oh god, alright. So that's minus 11 to my HOA infrastructure rating?
Yep.
That is minus only 6 to my influence. Oops. 2d6. Minus 7 to wealth. Minus 6 to people. 10 to land. 9 to reputation. And 7 for magic.
I should warn everybody that we're sitting at a 2 in HOA rating.
Sure are. All right, this is fun. I like it.
In 1754, during what will be eventually called the French and Indian War, haven't heard of a name change on that one yet, and somebody does, please let me know. But you suffered a scandal. Someone in your family was scandalous.
That tracks.
How scandalous, we'll find out. But it means that you suffer a minus 1d6 to HOA influence and reputation and land, not reputation, land.
Well, that's okay. Okay, HOA is only 1, so we're down to a 1 in HOA rating. That's fine. Influence, unfortunately, is a 5. And land is a 4.
You paid off somebody with that land. Yes.
Yep. Oh god, our land is back down at a 1, huh?
Land is at 1 and HOA is at 1. Luckily, your infrastructure, I already rolled this for you. Eventually, we'll do this after the fact.
Okay.
It's the infrastructure is you just pick 2. You pick 2 individual stats and you add a d6 to whichever one. So I rolled them already and put them to the side in case you wanted to move afterwards so that we can add them mathematically, depending on which benefits you or makes the story work. But in 1789, you gained, with the ratification of the Constitution, you gained favor with somebody.
Oh, okay. That's something.
Yes, so that's positives again.
All right. So favor 5 to HOA rating.
Yep.
6 to influence, which didn't really need the help, but I'll take it.
But it boosts it a whole other level.
Oh, that's nice. 4 for land, which was desperately needed. And 1 for reputation.
Look, it's giving you a reputation.
Yeah, that's fair.
In 1820, which is picked because it's the Savannah fire, Savannah suffers an outbreak of yellow fever, and at the same time, 80% of the city burns. Supposedly, in historical lore, the theory is that it might have been caused by somebody trying to like burn out fever like disposables and lost control of it. In our lore, there's other things may have been causing that fire.
Like it. I like it.
Other things caused. But we have an eccentric ruler again.
No! Okay, here we go. HOA is a 6 minus 2d6, right? Yeah. Okay, HOA, -1.
Still positive, though.
Yeah, incredibly. All right, what's next? Influence, also -1. Wealth, -2. People. Oh, okay, 0.
No change.
No change. Land is a -1. Reputation is a +2.
Hey, there we go.
So strange. And magic is a +4. Wow.
There you go. Obviously, whatever this eccentric ruler did benefited you in magic.
Yeah, basically he didn't do anything except study magic.
And helped your reputation. I don't know.
Oh, yes, and well, we'll figure it out.
1861 to 1865, the late unpleasantness, as some people like to attribute it, but the American Civil War, you had a victory.
Oh.
Victory leads to a positive 1d6 in HOA, influence, and magic.
Okay. HOA +5.
There you go.
Yeah, finally. Influence +3, and magic +2.
Okay. However,
we needed that. That's fine.
However, in 1864, when William Tecumseh Sherman starts marching through Georgia, and makes a little bit of a threatening motion to the city of Savannah, y'all have a scandalous moment.
Again?
Yeah.
All right. So this time the scandal does only 1 to our HOA rating, -1 to the HOA.
Yeah.
Let's see. -5 to influence.
Every time you have a scandal, you get -5 to influence.
Uh-huh.
And then you're
And -4 to land.
which is I believe the exact same. No.
This house is struggling.
It is not the worst house.
That is very sad for whoever is, because this is struggling.
Look, the worst player house so far ended up being she rolled 2 dooms and multiple scandals, and it came out to being that they decided to ended up being that they're the house that's the incubus succubus. And one of the things that ended up happening is that they had to take over the property. They got willed this property, they lost their property next door, they own it, and now the house that they were living in got burned down, so they moved to the house next door. And eventually they come to find out, well, they had a small problem. This was consecrated land and they were super hell cursed.
Oh shit, that's awesome. That's awesome.
No, that's not Pooja. That was PB. PB is a player. Pooja, do you know Pooja on Twitter?
I don't think so, no.
She plays in Manapot Studios games, and she's played games on my channel before.
Okay.
And she
Okay.
she came to help build me a South Asian house. But in 1893, the Sea Islands hurricane came through. It is the 7th most deadliest hurricane in recorded history. Caused a small invasion revolt, and I don't know.
You know, like you do.
Like you do. Could be multiple reasons, and we tweak them as we go, because technically these so -1d6 to HOA, wealth, and people, and 2d6 to reputation.
Obviously. All right, so 3 to HOA.
Mm-hmm.
What is this invasion revolt? 2 for wealth, -2 for wealth, -2 for people.
2 for wealth.
And okay, only 4 for reputation.
That's not horrible.
It could be worse.
You're still positive in almost everything. And then we get a favor in World War
Thank
One.
Goodness.
Y'all did something for somebody. Did something in your family that was beneficial to somebody, at least. 1d6 to HOA, land, and reputation.
And influence, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
That's
Land,
okay.
influence.
Listen,
and
I just need
reputation.
all the help I can get. All right. HOA +1. Where are we? Influence +5. Land +6.
There you go. You got out of
We
0.
have some land. We got out of 0. And what am I doing? Favor. So this is reputation is a 4.
Okay. You earn back what you lost. And then 1928, the stock market crash wasn't horrible for y'all. You have a conquest.
Oh, okay.
Positive 1d6 to influence, wealth, land, and then -1d6 to reputation.
Okay. All right. So what's first? Influence. 2. And then wealth is 4. And then people is 5. And then land is 4.
Yep.
And then reputation is -6.
Still positive.
-6. Yep. And magic is -5. Just killer rolls there.
Fabulously good rolls. All right. And then that final 1941 to 1945, World War II brought you another infrastructure.
Okay, great.
What we have here is the 2 infrastructures, because the tier bumps are on the 11, so it goes 0, 1 to 10, 20, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, etc. You are currently sitting at a 7 in HOA, which is special.
Is certainly special.
Have you heard of a lawnmower? Those gutters need some help.
Right, exactly.
25 in influence, which is actually pretty good. You know some folks, but you aren't a member of the club. Wealth is at a 20. You're poor, but again, you can boost that once you go into 21. It'll boost the whole thing.
Right, that's all I need is 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
16 for people, which is, I believe, nuclear family. However you choose to define a nuclear family. 10 in land is the mortgage is high, but you can pay it.
Okay.
You're not renting. Reputation is a 3.
Sure is.
Y'all a little on the trashy side.
Well, that makes sense.
And then magic at a 12 is not 0. It's a well, certain.
It's not 0.
No, well, so it means that the family has some expressions of magic.
Okay.
So certain generations have magic, but never large expressions. So we've got those two infrastructure, and you can choose where on each of those rows you want to put those in, and that'll adjust things. And then we have the bonus die to put in at the very bottom.
Okay, so hang on one second. Let me just make sure I understand. Here we go. Okay, so I have these numbers here in this cell that you and I can see that I've highlighted. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
So those are your bonus die, and those are going to go U.S. There are 7 of them. You can put them across here to give you.
Oh, that's different. This is the infrastructure then.
Yeah. So there's one for 1941 to 1945, and one for 1776. And look, you keep benefiting.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I'm going to add, so according to this, so you rolled a 6 and a 5.
Yes.
So I'm adding 6 to 2 columns and 5 to 2 columns?
No, 6 to 1 column and a 5 to 1 column.
Oh, okay, because in the chart, infrastructure says choose 2 and increase each by 1d6, and I got it twice, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is you choose 2 stats and increase each by 1d6. So I rolled the 1d6. So
we are saying the same thing, just differently. Okay, I got it. Yeah. I got you. That was my fault. No. It was 100% my fault. I put the words in the wrong order.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So, well, I mean, I think since they change on the 11s, we should put a 6 in influence to get us, to make us 31. A very confusing, trashy, but influential family.
I'm here for it. You can have influence. There's a lot of ways you can be trashy and just have influence.
Absolutely. And I'm here for it. Okay, so I think a 6 should go there.
Okay, which one are we putting?
Let's start with whatever what's the date of the first one? The 1776.
Okay, so 6 goes you to 31, which puts you at new money. You're first generation to be accepted into the club.
Oh God, we got money and they hate us for it. Okay. And then I'm adding a 3. Let's see. Why don't we? Well, okay. That reputation is just like almost 0. But there's no oh, that's not true. There is getting out of it if I wanted, but it would take 2 of these. Which maybe isn't the worst idea.
No, I mean, like, because there are ways you can do this, because like it changes on the 1, right? So the 20 and that 10, you can put anything in, it'll change automatically. If you put that 3 in HOA, then it'll put you at a 10, and anything else you put there would drive you over.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I think we'll do. I think I've just found it. So for reputation, which is currently at a 3. Let's put the 1776 3 in reputation. And then let's put the 1941 5 in reputation. So that'll bring us to 11. So at least we're up to the next category.
Exactly.
So that brings us to, where is it? Oh, Bless Their Hearts, which is where we started anyway.
Yeah, it's where it's close to. Yeah, because it goes from 11 to 20. So you are in this. You're at the bottom of the same.
At 20.
You're at the bottom of the same category.
Well, you know what? I'll take it. So in that case, we have a 6 left, which I would probably like to. Well, I was going to say add to the HOA rating, but maybe it's funny that the HOA despises us.
Plus, you
have
another.
Heard of a lawnmower? There's gutter needs some help. Yeah, and again, we have money, we're in the club, and they just can't stand it. So instead, why don't we put the 6 in?
Because you have another 2 5s and another 6 in the rest of the bonus die.
Oh, I forgot about those. A little well-loved that just adds characters the next HOA level. Okay, that's quite funny.
I had fun writing.
Okay, in that case, let's put this. I need to start figuring out who this family is, and then I'll figure out where I want these numbers.
We can put them into the side, and we can figure out a little bit about the family history first.
Yeah, let's actually do that, because my instinct when I'm just looking at the numbers is to try to like
min-max it,
shore up the shitty stuff, and I think that is going to be less interesting in the end.
Which is cool. So I guess the first question I have to ask as we start thinking about who these people are is, how long have they been in Savannah? Because I built this game with the intention that they could have been there for a long period of time, or you could have had a history and come to Savannah later at any other point in history. Because again, 1945, there's a massive population shift after the war. So we've had people come in World War II, we've had people come, a couple carpetbaggers coming after the American Civil War, a couple people coming at the very beginning with the American War for Independence, or even there's one family that's even older that, you know, spent a lot of their, one of the players is playing a vampire, and she's like, we're gonna be a vampire household, we're just gonna be here as long as possible, and then, oh wait, some bad things went bad in Transylvania in this year, and we went, bye-bye.
Yeah.
So when do you think the family came to Savannah?
So if we're going with the current concept, right, of high influence, low love for us, I think it then makes sense if we came to Savannah maybe around, maybe that favor in 1914 had something to do with us coming here, because the favor in 1914, right, 1914 to 1918, so the oh my God.
World War I.
World War I, thank you. It was like the not Civil War or World War II. And then in 1928, we had a conquest. So those were two, on the whole, positive years for us. So maybe we started fresh in Savannah, you know, during World War I, and managed to, you know, infiltrate society once we arrived. Maybe in large part because the people in Savannah don't know about the last 400 years of our history.
Okay,
which
so we know
less favorable.
Which were less favorable. Well, that's not entirely true. You had some positives in there.
Oh yeah, not 100%, but on the whole, first 300 years were rougher than the last 30.
That is true. That is true. Okay, so then the next question is, where is this family from?
They're coming to Savannah during World War I.
Another time when there was massive shift in population for multiple reasons.
Right.
1918, we have some... We can also tweak a couple of these dates, like what I've done particularly. These were the dates I picked because they were significant events in Savannah history, and most of them would affect world history as well. Like the fact that, you know, 1566, there would be this colony that existed, and now you're dealing with people on both sides of the pond or talking about these, you know, colonists coming in and things. And so that you could have a lot of this discussion. But you could also perhaps, if you want to tweak it a little bit later, we can move it to the Spanish Civil War.
Well,
or so where do you want to have them coming from? I guess is the other question. Where are they coming from?
Yeah, so my question then is, I think they came to Savannah because we wanted a new start where people didn't, you know our name. But we also had found some lowercase f favor, right? We had come into, well, let's see, in that year we came into some land, and our name got, you know, we became known for something. We got reputation and influence increase.
And you got a massive chunk in land. Like,
yeah. So here's my question. How did, obviously we will answer this together, but I'm just asking you to make up this lore. But what I want to know is first is what was that? How did we get favor? Probably related to World War I in some way, but I don't think the family is like, I don't think they're like weapons manufacturers, right? I don't think we're war profiteers directly in the conventional ways.
Well, I mean,
so what else might have happened to give us this massive land influx in Savannah?
In Savannah, like there's a lot of ways in which we could do this, but I guess the question is, where do you want this family to come from? Who? Because that will change my answer. Because if they're coming from Europe and coming from Spain, that'll be a different answer than if they're coming from, let's say, South America or the Mexican imperial period.
Right, because we're talking about 1910s, 1920s in Mexico. if that's okay. So no, thank you.
I was like, I didn't think so, but we could. Like there's a lot
okay,
of
well then
we could. It depends on what you want.
Yeah. What about?
Or I guess does it go back? Do we go back even further to find out where they were from? Because we know when they came, we can find out where they came from.
Right.
Yeah.
What if we came from? Okay, so in terms of where we came from before Savannah.
Yeah.
What if we came from somewhere out west? And I don't know how the family got there, but at some point, maybe we were a gold rush family. Maybe we were I don't know.
So okay, so the family history starts in 1526.
Okay, so if we want to go that far back,
well, I'm saying like if we go from 1526, the Spanish California becomes a Spanish colony in
17.
This is
I don't know actually. Let's find out. 1769.
Okay, so that's when California becomes an established colony for Spain. But when's the Pope draws the line down the middle of the planet map. Portugal, Spain treaty. 1494 is the Treaty of Tordesillas. It's like that's the other thing about this game is like because the world history is established and it is this quote unquote the same. Because it's only until 1941 that just the effects of World War I prevent the supernatural world from remaining hidden. Just things like firebombing Dresden or the massive amounts of bombing that are happening in London. It's really hard to say, we've got this entire city block that's destroyed except for this one house. Why are it's just because I happened to carve... So the world is exposed and the history comes out of this. So the history up until that point, up until 1941, is exactly the same. Just maybe the public history is the same, but different things are happening.
Right.
So that makes a lot of easy things to happen. So we know the family history starts in 1526. The Treaty of Tordesillas is in 1494. So what is going on in California 1594?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Or history,
maybe,
or history of the West in 1594.
Sure.
Because I'm trying to remember
it's like missions and
a whole bunch of missions and colonial powers and moving through, but not 1594, 1526. That makes a big difference. About like 70 years difference.
Okay. What? Let's see.
1520. 1520. I mean, lots of things happened in 1520. Montezuma was officially deposed in 1520. But in 1526...
Okay, actually then. You say Montezuma was deposed in 1520?
Yeah. In 1526, the deadline for Spanish Muslims to convert to Christianity or leave is reached by the Crown of Aragon. And a large number of people are forced out.
Okay, so in that case,
so there's like
plenty more, but that's giving me actually more than that's more useful to my little brain than some of the other stuff. So let's do this. They are a family from Mexico, and I need to check one historical thing about a non-Nahua tribe in the 1500s. Hold on 1 second.
You are
okay, here we go.
Aware of a number of these tribes than I am. That's why I ask you for help.
Well, this is actually the tribe that my family is descended from, and I'm just curious what they were up to in the 1500s. Yes. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. Okay, so this family is from Mexico. They are are whatever part of the Purepecha tribe.
Can I
which
ask
I'll
you to
put in
please
our-
just spell that for me?
Yeah, I'll put
I'm
it
going
in
to,
the.
Yeah, I'm going to
I'll
tell
put
you
it
in
in our chat.
advance. I have an auditory processing issue, which means the sound and the written symbols do not connect in my brain, and it would okay.
There you go. So I got it in the. Oh, I can put it also in the.
Yeah, you can edit into this document.
Yes, I can. Which I forgot. I also. Where is?
I've got it.
You got it. Okay.
I got it. All right.
Okay, so in the 1520s, the Purepecha are arguably the only indigenous tribe in Mexico that was never defeated in battle or conquered by what we think of as the Aztec Empire. And so actually, Montezuma being deposed in 1520 was obviously like a giant global shift in the region, but for the Purepecha was more of a sign of things to come than an immediate problem. Of course, it wasn't much later that then the Spanish started coming in droves and blah, blah, blah. So that's a good time for us to leave. As the Spanish started arriving in the 1620s and building more of their colonies and missions, we saw the writing on the wall and left and headed north rather than to California to what would become Texas, I think that is a more logical trip, because if we were in what is now sort of central Mexico, the area of Mexico City, I don't know that we would have gone all the way to California.
No, that would, I agree with you on this. This also makes a lot of sense because with that eccentric, is this a sign that eccentric ruler is the one who saw the writing on the wall, got everybody together and said, peace, we're out. And
we're out and we're going to, yes, exactly.
So that gives you that boost in reputation and influence and wealth, and you have to leave behind things like the land, and a few people maybe die on the trip or get murdered by Spanish. Okay,
yes,
so we've got this
100%. I like that.
Ruler. We're gonna find a name for him after the fact.
Yeah,
moves the family from central Mexico to Texas. Cool, and that's how that's gonna work. And then there's 1566. There's an invasion and revolt. Oh well, that's the Spanish coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah, excellent, great. That made it perfect.
I mean, if I'm going to be specific, 1560s Texas. There's a specific thing that happens in the 1560s in Texas. What is? There's a battle. 1566. I'll find it. It's yeah, it's also because the value of the gold coin goes down significantly.
Oh.
Value. Spain starts suffering from there was a massive the Spanish conquistador Miguel Lopez Legazpi sails from Mexico. Later he'll conquer the Philippines and Manila. So they're starting to expand out west even further. That's in 1564, and
64. Okay.
And the else that happened. I can't find it right now, but I know
that's
that there's
something.
I mean,
yeah,
the Spanish arrive.
Yeah, the Spanish. Yeah, it's enough said, right? Yeah, yeah. And that makes sense, right? They come in, they change things up, so we lose reputation because we are not Spanish, right? We lose, I mean, people die, okay. We lose a little bit of money. It sounds like maybe something about the gold exchange, but we managed to hold on to most of our wealth. But then, the neighborhood reputation, the HOA rating obviously also goes super down. So that all makes sense to me.
Yeah, the value of gold versus silver has a massive shift. For the Spanish, not for anybody else. It's almost like they had a counterfeit problem or something.
Weird.
1607, somebody in the family gains favor with somebody else. My next question is, we are now 80 years later. this one of the things I wanted to do with this is this, are we still within the same timeline of this eccentric ruler who moved the family from Mexico to Texas, or are they gone? And do you have any ideas of the type of species of creature or natural?
Should I choose from a list, or are we
If
just
you look
picking?
on the character tables, option tab
Okay,
1,
great.
I gave
Got
some
it.
general.
Oh, there they are. Look at that.
The only thing that they can't be is human because they have magic. But
Oh,
you
sure.
can have humans in the family. I kind of broke it down. But one of the things I put specifically in the lore for this is that I made a point of putting this in the lore sheet. Is that certain beings are limited to certain ethnic traditions, but some exist among all ethnic groups, but might be called different things by different people. All peoples have the same type of. All peoples have some type of were animal, but they might differ among different cultures, you know, and different. Some same thing with magic users. Some might be there might be cultural overlap, but some might be specific to individual culture. The difference between a druid and an onmyoji.
Sure.
And so the general characterizations I discovered were like they celestials, both infernal or divine, greater undead, shifters, and generic magic.
Okay. I think looking at this list, I'm liking either celestials or shifters for our broad category, I think.
Okay.
And let's do celestials. I think that's kind of interesting. I think we are
and I specifically admittedly here I used Judeo-Christian terminology
sure.
because it's easy to identify and most people are used to experiencing but if we need to like changing names based on cultural definitions is a big thing, like we did with Pooja. The family are descendants of devas and not angels as we would define them. Indeed.
Yes, and I will admit that though I am quite fluent in certain aspects of my Purepecha heritage, religion and mythology, not really one of them. So I don't particularly know what we would call the creatures. I can certainly look it up, and you and I can connect.
Yeah, we can get that
once
later.
I've had a chance to like check with my family for what they are called.
Yeah, that works.
But I think it's I think it is probably like, you know, not gods, but deific, like nature spirits of the elements and nature and the forces of the natural world, kind of thing.
A level of animistic representations.
I think so, yeah. And I'm just thinking about what little I know of some of like the Purepecha deities, and yeah, I mean, there's in all sort of Mesoamerican culture, there's a lot of animism, there's a lot of animal anthropomorphism, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's sort of the direction I'm going. I think maybe we'll figure out the specifics of form as we go, but that's I think the idea.
Yeah, because that's where I put the Nagual from the on the shifter list. I was like, we can have multiple definitions.
Oh, interesting.
But we can have, but the celestials being, or having them be celestials versus shifters could be the, like I separated out the Nagualas because they seem to be, at least from what I was reading, seem to be much more of not a divine kind of, it's just animals, humans that could attain the same shape versus
sure
like a divine being of an animistic sense of like.
Yeah, definitely. And so these are the sort of divine spiritual being. And also I think if they, like, just talking sort of detail specifics, if and when they like change their form between, whatever the embodiment of their whatever is and like something they can present in public. I mean, I don't know how you're envisioning wares and the other cultural versions thereof, but like
We
when
have
they
a,
shift, they become the animal. It's not
Yeah.
like a hybrid,
no, it's
right?
like they become an animal.
Bipedal wolf or something, right? They
No,
just are.
they just are. And
Yeah.
they're the other one of the other major NPC families that we built are the are Algonquins who move south,
Mhm.
and are wear sand tiger sharks.
Love it. That's awesome. I love that so much.
Because
Very cool.
funnily enough, the sand tiger shark is indigenous to almost every coastal region on the planet except for the American Pacific coast.
Huh. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
lots of things you can do with that. But okay, so
Yeah.
we want to go with celestial in this kind of case. Are we going with, or so we're going probably closer to something? Yeah, we'll go with celestial, general celestial.
So.
We'll figure out.
Yeah. If you remind me, I will actually, as soon as we're done here, I'll
Yeah.
text my parents and see if they have a name for what I'm describing.
We'll go with it. All right, so the Spanish arrive, and there's a problem.
Okay,
but the whole point about this is that
right.
individual still alive? Are they still in charge, or is there somebody else that has to deal with this problem now? More so that when we get to the next level in 1607, and we get this favor that happens, who is the person who gains that favor, and who are they gaining that favor with?
Okay, so this eccentric ruler, we have decided, though 1526 was not a great year for us, it was to escape a much worse situation.
Mhm.
So they do seem to be eccentric and not always great for us, but on the whole, sort of leading us to safer things. So maybe it is the same person. 60 years or 80 years, whatever, for a spirit feels reasonable enough, I think.
I mean, we have a Selkie that lived 300 or 250 years. We're fine. We have a couple.
Yeah.
We have a couple divine beings, multiple families. We have a couple vampires. The age and timeline that we're playing with. It's like
great. I love it. So then, yeah, I think it's the same one, and I think maybe when we left Mexico, it was not just that the Spanish were coming, but also they felt a call from somewhere north. And you tell me, because if this is not in the spirit of what we want to build with something called favor, we can change this up. But so they went north, and 80 years later, finally found what it was that had called them to this place, and they actually gained favor with a fairly powerful, I don't know, entity, spirit. Maybe it's a more powerful nature spirit, maybe it's something else entirely, but something there in Texas that sort of brought them there 80 years ago, and they finally find it, and that is where they get sort of supernatural favor.
Would it be fair to say that the family then perhaps would this family integrate with any of the tribes in that central North Texas area, or do they stay separate?
I think that as we go on, it is going to be more interesting to say that they stay separate.
Okay.
And I think they do that because they did that in Mexico. They weren't ever absorbed into the Nahua Empire. And so why are they going to be absorbed into some other tribe here in Texas?
Makes sense.
I think that's their sort of logic about the situation.
Finally finds who called them. North establishes a culvert, maybe, or
yeah, sure.
Because you gain that like massive chunk of land that and this reputation, and you'll do a lot of bad things will happen. But I think it kind of comes to separate from other plains tribes.
Yes.
I think that's how that's gonna work, at least in my head.
I like it. Yeah, sure.
And then,
I like that.
And then 1665 is a defeat.
Yeah, so because I don't think if ultimately
Mm-hmm.
uh the ruler that moved us is going to be the ruler of the family come World War II. I think the defeat is of this ruler. I think that is where we lose this original ruler. Who defeats him? What a good question.
Yeah,
Um,
is it a Plains Indian, or is it Spanish, or is it? If we're still that far west, 16. Yeah, we're still. It would either be the Spanish or Plains
well, let's
tribes.
why buck a theme when we've got one going? It's the Spanish.
Always blame the Spanish. I mean, unless you can
Yeah.
blame the English, in which case
Right,
blame the
exactly.
English.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that because this is also the beginning of about 100 years of shit for this family.
Yeah.
So yeah, we moved here to get away from the Spanish and an increasingly unstable indigenous political climate in Mexico. We come up here, and after about 100 years, well, look, it's the fucking Spanish. Excuse me, it's the Spanish again.
We're here for it. I mean, I'm here for it. Oh, that could be part of why. 1665 is also the year that Charles II becomes king of Spain.
Good Lord.
For those of you who don't know, Charles II is 4 years old when he becomes king of Spain, and it does not do good things for the Habsburgs when he does. Causes lots of problems all over. Okay, so the Spanish arrive.
Yeah, and maybe ruler has now.
Have they died previously, or do they die in this attack?
I think the latter. I think they are convinced that this now is where they are supposed to be, and so they refuse to leave, give in, compromise, and ultimately it gets them killed.
Lopez, I think we all want that sitcom of those darn Habsburgs.
Those darn Habsburgs! But like definitely like 70s or 80s style sitcom, right? Like it's not like it's very
we have to go full Charles in charge with the Habsburgs.
Yes. Okay, because you mentioned it, real quick story about Charles in Charge.
Yes.
I presumably you have seen Charles in Charge.
Yes.
Oh god, I never remember the character's name. What was his best friend's name?
Charles?
Well, anyway, that kid, right? His best friend, played by the one and only Willie Ames.
Yeah, Buddy Lembeck.
Buddy. Yeah.
It was like, we couldn't actually give him a name. We just call him your buddy. It's like, that was always the thing that was in my head.
So for many years in my early and mid-20s, I worked as an entertainer on cruise ships, and my second ship, Buddy, was our cruise director.
How'd that go? Heck well, huh?
Willie Ames is not Buddy. Let's say that.
Let's say that. Look, I can tell you that when I was in high school, a number of years ago that we don't need to talk about, my friend, her mother had a, you know how on Facebook you can have your relationship set to "it's complicated"?
Yeah, wild that we used to do that all the time, but yes, go on.
Her relationship was the definition of "it's complicated" with Tom Wopat. Like, to the point that if he wasn't actively dating anyone else, the two of them were shacking up, and she would go to various events.
It's amazing.
So when Tom Wopat was in the revival of Annie with Bernadette Peters, we got orchestra tickets, and legitimately that was the best performance I've ever seen, because if you have to stop I Can Do Anything You Can Do Better 7 times for an encore in the middle of the that's
amazing.
That's perfect. Amazing. Sorry.
I love it. I will say, Willie Ames singing, oh God, what's that Beatles song? What is that song?
In the Garden of Eden? That's
what
I'm hearing.
I didn't do it very well. Water down below his knees. Come together.
Okay,
God,
Rolling Stones, not
anymore.
Rolling Stones, not the Beatles.
Listen, everything from those years on ships are a complete blur. All right, let us go back to this family.
Sorry.
No, my fault. I got us distracted with Charles in charge.
Yeah, okay, so the ruler dies. Yeah.
Yes, dies to yet again the Spanish.
And that like causes this defeat of the family, right? Like,
yes, correct.
And I think you don't lose reputation because he dies.
I think that's right. Yes, I think he dies, so we lose. You know, we're a little disorganized. So whatever the 1665 equivalent of HOA rating, right, goes down. Yeah. We lose our influence because our matriarch, patriarch, I don't know what they are, is gone. We obviously lose some money from that. People are gone. Land gets taken from us. This ruler was probably sort of the nexus of a good chunk of our power, so that's the magic. But once they're gone, the family's like, okay, listen, we're real sorry about that. Yes, we'll conform or whatever, at least for a time, in the hopes that it will work, right? And we will, based on the next several rolls that we've done, we will learn the hard way that that's not going to work either. But in 1665, we don't know that yet.
You don't know. All right. And then comes 1733. In a doom.
Yeah, so then it gets very, very bad. So what
is going on in 17?
Yeah, this feels like it wants to be.
Well, the reason I picked 1733 is it's the date that is the colonization of the founding of the colony of Georgia, which is a grant colony, by the way.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
What are the Spanish doing? What's going on out west?
What year is this?
1733.
33. Okay. Sure. Let's look at this. What? Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's see. Let me look at what we actually lose in this terrible doom. We mostly lose land, reputation, and HOA rating. Although we really lose a lot of everything, but those are the worst of the worst. Okay, and that's still 200, fully 200 years before we end up in Savannah. Or no, sorry, just under 200 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not going to Savannah yet.
Yeah, non-colony territories, exactly.
Maybe how's our magic is also hit pretty hard. Okay, so what if this one? Far be it from me to ever, feel the need to give the Spanish a break, but maybe let's give the Spanish a break this time. And maybe this is some.
Look, you say that the same way I say, why should I give the English a break?
Exactly. Maybe this is some natural disaster. And I don't know that there's anything real world historical, but
there's
maybe
there are a couple of things that happen. Valparaiso is. Well, there's an earthquake in Valparaiso.
Well, that's interesting.
It's also a magnitude 9.1 earthquake in Valparaiso.
Oh.
No, but stop and think about it. It's in Chile, right?
Right.
Where's that fault line run?
Well, that's a good question.
Line through Valparaiso, Chile. Give me an image of that fault line. Because, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's still too far away.
Just too far away. Okay, that's fine.
Like, if we need to tweak a couple years. All right, so natural disaster.
Well, okay, but it could also be because what I'm thinking is that whatever the natural disaster is, right, we are going to then mess with to say it was either caused by or affected some of these magical things of nature. So maybe it's not that we felt the Valparaiso earthquake. But maybe it's that affected something in the magical spiritual nature realm, which affected our patron spirit in Texas that had given us all of this stuff, gotten us to move there, whatever. And maybe actually we lose a ton. Maybe it fully destroys or
I mean, 'cause
whatever this patron spirit.
if we go with a theory that the fault lines, we go into the theory, we're like, again, genre, we're going to play with genre here, right? Because the
Of
genre
course, yeah.
is urban fantasy and Southern Gothic at its core. And one of the big things about urban fantasy is this concept of ley lines. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. But a lot of people talk about ley lines overlapping and crossing through fault lines. So if you have a 9.1 magnitude earthquake on a massive ley line fault line, that's going to affect the entire.
Yes, absolutely.
And
so
I think
go ahead.
I think that's going to cause, like, it causes a destruction of, like, maybe a physical site that's home to this magic, because you also don't get that magic back until much later.
Look, for a while, yeah.
And
oh yeah, it takes nearly 100 years for us to get any magic back.
Yeah. So that whole kind of like the destruction of like that earthquake in Valparaiso has a ripple effect that causes that death that I think you think. So it's like, and I think it's one of those, the physical manifestation is something like, I'm going to use this terminology and it's probably wrong, and we'll find a better terminology and a better description because you know the culture better, but something like, you know, like a natural cairn or something like that, that would be like considered the home of this deity in the physical realm, is collapses.
Yes, it is a relatively small but still big enough to be considered a lake. It is a body of water in a mostly deserty or arid portion of Texas, right? The Purepecha in real life built their civilization around Lake Pátzcuaro and Lake Tzintzuntzan, and so that's absolutely what these people would have found power in Texas. And so whatever happens, it goes dry. It runs dry.
Body of water in Texas, the home of the divine.
Yeah, whatever it is, the divine patron
Spirit,
or whatever we're calling it.
Yeah, well, let's call it divine patron. That works, for lack of a better term. Goes dry because of the earthquake in Chile that breaks a couple of ley lines.
Yes. Yeah.
And and it's like, whether that divine patron dies or not, they might just not be able to access this particular location anymore.
Yeah.
And so you don't know, right? Like,
yeah, for us it's all the same, because the point is we lose our access to. Yeah. I like that. Okay.
1754, the French and Indian War. The Spanish are still in power in Texas, but the English are rising. The French have, you know, Louis has taken over Louisiana, cutting real close. And there's a scandal that gives you a minor ding to power, but a big ding to influence and land. I have two, and usually we need to figure out who is the person committing this scandal. The actual Green Ronin book says your family was involved in some. I love some of these. Some of them could be better written, but some of them are kind of very good. Your family was involved in some disaster, a scandal that haunts them still. Good options include spawning a bastard, failed conspiracies, and so on. Again, feudal game. But in this case, is the scandal something within the local tribal cultures or within the white dominated?
I think it is a scandal for the largely white dominated culture, because we're going to go back a little bit. So original ruler dies in 1665. That's our defeat. Somebody else has to take over. So whoever is our ruler after 1665, they, whether or not, and I think based on what we've described, they are, the truth is that they are not responsible, but they feel responsible, right? Under their watch, their patron deity dried up. And so the scandal in 1754, or in that time range, is a disastrously backfired and very public ritual attempt to get them back. And so not only does it not work, but the white people see us doing it and are like, oh, they're all witches. Cool.
We don't have a problem with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, about that. So the scandal is the new ruler attempts, is it the new, yeah, because this is only 20 years later, it would be within the possibility of,
I think so. Yeah, and I have a feeling we're gonna like this. I don't think this is gonna be the ruler that brings us to Savannah for reasons in a few events. So
yeah, I can guess. New ruler attempts a ritual to reconnect with patron.
Yeah.
It goes badly. Very publicly. Scandal with the white folk.
Yep.
There we go.
Great. I love it.
Yeah. Basically, that's Vulpes is what Vulpes is saying is standing in for the wonderfully horrible white folk in this moment. It would be shouting these words that are, complicated. All right. So, 20 years later, during the American Civil War, y'all gain an infrastructure, which gives you a boost to influence and reputation. Are you guys, are y'all betting, on the Americans?
Okay. So the scandal.
Yeah.
I think this new ruler has got to go.
Yeah,
maybe they don't die, but they are not
in
the picture after that scandal.
Are they publicly ostracized, or are they just removed from being the public face of the family?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, let's remove them from the public face, because then they can cause trouble later. And so finally, in this 1776 to 1783 moment,
World War,
we now have the third family leader who is like, okay, we ran from the Spanish. It didn't work. We put all our eggs in Lake Drybed's basket. It didn't work. Maybe it's time we just go with the wind, the way the wind is blowing. And so this ruler, who I have just decided will also not be the one that brings us to Savannah, is like our conformist family leader.
Conformist family head. Okay.
And so this family head, yes, is a little more. We don't have any magic. We're completely cut off, right? We are still celestial beings, but we have almost nothing left, right? And so this person, this leader, this ruler, whatever, just tries to kind of leave all that behind, develops a little bit of like political and economic acumen, sees which way the wind is blowing in terms of national political events, and yes, exactly what you said, sides with the Americans enough to rebuild a little out of the nothing that we have left at this point.
I'm going to ask this question. Do they start trying to pass?
Yes, because I think from my personal view of this ruler, he's pretty odious. Yeah. So yes, I think they do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. 1789, however, somebody in the family gains favor with the ratification of the Constitution.
Well, I think that's just what, 10 years later-ish, 5 to 10 years later. Mm-hmm. So I think that's him. And I think he's continuing to play that game. And in this one, so this is the ratification of the Constitution, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. Tell me let's talk about this together. Do we leave Texas?
I could see you leaving Texas.
I think maybe this third patriarch, this conformist leader, I think maybe we leave Texas.
So we leave Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And go where?
Yeah, what a good question. I mean, we're trying to pass. We want to go somewhere that will check one historical thing because I haven't. Let's see.
Hey, that's why this is one of the best things and why I call friends who know more than I do.
Okay, so maybe we even go to 15. No. When are we? 17, 16. Okay.
17, 79,
right?
Yeah, 17. Or unless we leave, yeah, that's what I think they're saying.
Ish, yeah, just ish is fine. Okay. So I was kind of hoping Florida would be British by then, but it isn't.
No, Florida isn't British until after the War of 1812.
Whatever. Yeah. So, and I don't want to be necessarily in Georgia yet. So maybe we go to like, I mean,
Louisiana?
It's not exactly. Oh, that's interesting. We throw over the Spanish for the French.
And because if you go to Louisiana in 1789, there's a
that
lodge.
Makes more sense
because that's
Go
the
ahead.
well the 1789 is not a real good year for the French government.
Oh yes. Okay. Yes. That makes more sense. Also, because I was thinking like East Coast, but that's too far to then backtrack to Savannah.
Yeah.
So yes, I like that. Let's do that, and
because then you're continuing moving east, and eventually you'll end up in the port town on 17 in Savannah, right?
100%. Okay, so we go to Louisiana.
Yeah.
The French are having a rough go of it. And so I don't know. Again, we've got this conformist who's going to do what it takes to rub elbows with the people that are going to rebuild our family, rebuild our house. So, literally whoever is most politically expedient in that moment, we do something for. So let's see.
Because the Louisiana Purchase won't be for another 2 years.
Right.
Or not 20 years, another. Just I'm thinking.
What are we doing out there? We are
1803. So the Louisiana Purchase is in 1803. So this is another 15 years before that happens.
But that's okay, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. So let me look at our little timeline again. Okay, so since we've talked about bodies of water and that sort of stuff, we're going to Louisiana. We've got the bayou and the river delta and all of that. So maybe we go to
Pontchartrain?
Maybe, yes, exactly. Maybe we go to New Orleans, we settle near, or whatever, right, at the time. We settle near Lake Pontchartrain, or maybe even, what's the other, there's another lake right next, Marpus or something. It's a little bit smaller, right next to Pontchartrain, and like less, I don't know, conspicuous. So maybe it's that.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Lake Charles? No.
No. It's is that a real lake?
Louisiana.
Lake I'm gonna put it in chat because I don't know how.
The French.
It's probably French, and I'm bad at French.
The French I can
Marpa.
Maurepas.
Maurepas. Okay,
Well, the French would be Maurepas, but it probably is Cajun, so Maurepas.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
there you go.
Louisiana. Cool.
It's a little tiny lake just east of Lake Pontchartrain. I love that this family has so much of my family in it because my non-Mexican family is all from New Orleans.
I'm here for it. It makes sense. Okay.
So I think we go there, right? And we just I don't know if it's we start developing a small settlement there, and we're granted, we're given whatever if we can sort of make use of the lake shore area, because I imagine, in 1789 it was probably not.
Back, everybody.
Yay!
You should be back. Yeah.
Yes, it seems we are.
We went boom again. Unfortunately, sometimes what happens is Twitch just doesn't like me and shuts my entire system down.
We love that. That's very
And
helpful.
Yeah. It's great. So we were saying that we're on the lake and a family member gains favor, probably, I would guess, with one of the, you know, like, privateer captains that are coming out of Louisiana.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That makes more sense than anything, because that's absolutely the kind of folk that this dude would go after for patronage or whatever we're calling it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, because, like, you get, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be this particular patriarch who does that. He just moves the family, but I think it could also be some other member of the family who gains this particular favor.
Great, yeah.
All right, 1820. This eccentric ruler.
Oh, okay. Okay.
30 years after we moved to Louisiana.
So, and what does this do? Influence down, wealth down, HOA rating down, land down, but better reputation, and we finally get some magic back.
And not a small amount.
Right. Okay. And this is how, this is only about 30 years later. Okay. But we've had the conformist patriarch for about 40 or 50. Oh, is that true? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I wasn't going back far enough. Yeah. Okay.
Right? Because you have to have that, because that the original new ruler is removed from public view, so the conformist is the one who kind of comes to power.
Right. But we only see him doing something then when we...
Yeah.
Okay, great. I like that. So this then is going to be our fourth and, for our purposes, I think, final patriarch. And so this is the beginning of the family's return to our heritage. Culturally and magically, and supernaturally. And so,
I have to ask, how do we get rid of the third patriarch? Do they?
Oh yeah, that is a good question.
Is there a family murder?
What's the historical event in 1820 that we're looking at?
Well, in 1820 in Savannah, there's an outbreak of yellow fever that causes a fire. And if we look at 1820 in Louisiana, let's see. That's 17 years after Louisiana Purchase.
Okay.
Napoleon is finally officially permanently defeated.
Okay. So maybe this is, let's see. We've had the War of 1812. Oh, well, maybe ruler number 3, conformist ruler, gets a little wrapped up in... It would be very easy to say that conformist ruler picks the wrong side, backs the French in the War of 1812, right? And then, you know.
Oh, that's right. This is the 1820 election. So 1820 presidential election is really wild. James Monroe, who's the incumbent, and the Democratic Republican candidate, basically wins unopposed.
Oh yes, I do. Okay.
And it's
go ahead.
He wins every electoral seat except for New Hampshire because John Quincy Adams hates James Monroe with a passion personally.
Very funny.
And whether or not he actually won New Hampshire was at question in whether John Quincy Adams vote will never actually be determined because we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we get rid of the ruler because he, thought he was on top of the political, socioeconomic, whatever. He'd been doing great for all these years and was just sure that the French were going to come out on top and keep Louisiana, and they didn't.
No. Okay.
And so I don't know if he fought and died in the war, or maybe he, the family ousted him because we're tired of, our family leaders betting on the wrong damn side. I'm not sure what the specifics of that are, but I do think it has something to do with maybe backing the French.
Okay, so
in 1812.
In 1812. Okay, yeah. So he's backing the War of 1812 is against.
Or sorry, yeah.
The British.
Now I'm getting all of the
I was like, we could have him
twisty.
back Napoleon, but that would be a little complicated.
That would be complicated, although also totally something I feel like that dude would do.
No, do we want to do that? Because we can do that. We can have him be like, he wants to back Napoleon. He thinks Napoleon is great. And Napoleon, there's the 1820 and the push for all of this issues with Napoleon. By 1812, he thinks Napoleon is the greatest thing in the world, and he wants to have the family back Napoleon against the Brits and the Americans. And they're like, no.
Yes. And maybe. So do you know, can we find out where Napoleon was he was commanding from France at that point? Was he? I don't know much about the French side of that part of history, to be honest.
Okay, so the Peninsular Campaigns I am very familiar with, because one of my favorite things growing up in child was the Richard Sharp series of movies, which is statistically, yes, I did actually, so the last time I played with this system, I created a game set in the Napoleonic Wars and Peninsular Campaigns called The Regiment. You can find it on YouTube. Hi, it exists. I have one.
I love it.
I can also shill at the same time. But Richard Sharp, hey, by the way, also fun note, the existence of the Sharp series of movies skews the data for Sean Bean's deaths and makes it so it's positive that he lives in more movies than he dies in.
It's perfect.
But nobody thinks about them because they're the same character. But the Napoleon is fighting a two-front war in Russia and in Europe. He's moved he's established his brother as king of Spain.
Okay.
But the Brits have pulled a foothold into Portugal and are marching into Spain at various points and are backing the Spanish king against Napoleon and his invaders. And they start allying with a bunch of rebels. So I could see it being this family going, this patriarch going, well, we don't like the Spanish, and Napoleon is doing good things for us. And he talks about the Napoleon, because that's the point, is the Napoleonic Code comes to Louisiana, and if you actually look at the Napoleonic Code and what it's doing, it's extremely revolutionary. Like, mandated education for both genders up to a certain level, mandated public welfare certain ways, and public health care, and all of these things that come out of the Napoleonic Code, which is why if you're a lawyer you go to law school, you can't really practice in the state of Louisiana because there's an entirely different legal system.
It's wild. Yeah, I love it.
All right, wants to back Napoleon. The family says nah.
Yeah, and actually, I think I want to take it a step further, because this ruler has basically overseen almost 70 years of relative prosperity for the family. I mean, by the numbers anyway. And so I think maybe it's even more than wants to back Napoleon. I think he is so sure. He's, first of all, completely forgotten his celestial roots, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, and all of that. And so he is so sure that Napoleon and the French are the way to go, that I think, rather than saying, oh, the family deposed him or he died or whatever, I think he went to France.
Yeah, okay.
I think he literally goes to because in his mind, he is going to become Napoleon's right-hand lieutenant in this war, and it's going to do amazing things for the family, and he just never comes back. he might be dead. He might still be in France. He might have been exiled with Napoleon, and it was the two of them on whatever the island was that he was exiled to. And maybe he's still there. Who the hell knows, right? But he just doesn't come back.
Elba. Thank you, Elba.
Elba, thank you. Yes, Elba.
Well, no, wait. Yeah, because it's Elba first, and then he comes back for Waterloo in 1815, and then gets exiled.
Yeah, maybe this patriarch is still on Elba and is just like the resident nature spirit of that island now.
I mean, there are, I guess, worse places to be than Elba.
I mean, I guess.
Not great, but all right. All right, so then so this fourth in 1820, then this fourth patriarch is he brings the magic back, but he loses a little bit of influence. He gains reputation.
Yeah, I think it's just like a circling of the wagons for the family magically, right? I think we pull back from some of our investments and some of our work and some of all the other things that have been giving us the sort of very physical improvements of wealth and land and whatever. So we sort of circle the wagons and get that magic back. We also gain a little bit of, what is that, land? No, reputation. Oh, well...
Is it reputation that you gain with maybe not the... Because you're in Louisiana now, and Creole and Santeria and...
Oh yeah, that's all it is. It's we now that we have a little bit of magic back, we begin to get to know the Vadun community out here, and
yes,
yeah, maybe that's all it is.
And stop, and maybe because again, you lose the HOA, and you lose influence, and you lose wealth. Is this a case of rejecting passing and now going into like the vote?
Yes.
Center?
Yes.
You
100%. Yes. Yes. Love that. Love that a lot.
Okay, that makes sense. 1861 to 1865, you have a victory. You picked the right side in that late unpleasantness.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it can. I think actually that it can just be that. We.
Is it also good?
Well, maybe we make use of our refound magic and our new friends in the magical community here in the bayous, and participate in that unpleasantness for the Union in some magical way. I mean, we're still in southern Louisiana, so, that is as far-reaching as it can be. And we get a bit
I would like to remind you of where not Sherman, where Ulysses S. Grant spends most of the war.
Well, that's true. That's true. So maybe
he's up the Mississippi, right? He's stuck up in the Mississippi because he can't leave. Whatchamacallit? What's the place in Mississippi? God dang it, Vicksburg. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you,
sure.
He's sitting around Vicksburg and he can't do anything. And they need to control the Mississippi to control the trade going up and down west.
So then so maybe it's even as simple as we help to control the western side of that.
Yeah. Okay. Supporting the Union would it be fair to say resistance movement kind of way?
I think so. I think we continue to get smarter, right? And so now it's not about the overt support, because that's gone bad so many times in our family's history. So yes, I think that is the vibe.
Okay, Grant, etc. Cool. That makes sense. And then that leads to the scandal in 1864. Is this where the other folk in Louisiana find out that you're supporting that Union Army?
Oh, that's interesting. Yes,
or is there
can I tell you why? Because I think I had no plan to do this earlier.
Okay,
but now I think maybe it's kind of funny. So yes, and the way that they find out, what if conformist patriarch number 3 comes back, shows up again?
Yeah, and
he's so mad that we didn't go to find him, didn't reach out, didn't work, we were like, okay, he's gone, bye. That he just goes around and is like, look what they're doing. I mean, it's, you know, maybe a little less petty. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, he's a conformist. He's falling in. He's rejecting all of his, you know, his traditions. He might be that level of petty.
Yeah, maybe so. And I mean, he has clawed his way back, right, to Louisiana to find out that you know, the family is siding once again with some what he considers foreign whatever instead of the people of this land and blah blah blah. But it's all the right words with the worst of intentions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he sucks. I love it. Yeah. So yes, that's what that scandal is he shows up and tells everybody what we've been doing.
Okay, the other thing is, I want you to know that the other point, like other touchstone I gave my players is Dark Shadows, the TV series, not the movie.
Oh, yeah, then that's the right amount of petty, isn't it?
Just the right amount of petty.
Dark Shadows, I love it!
Like, that level of, like, yes, we're bringing Barnabas Collins back, and he's gonna be that level of petty with you.
Exactly.
That level thing. It's like, oh my god. And so that's why you lose influence and reputation.
Yes, 100%.
But it doesn't affect anything that you actually care about.
Right.
1893, there's another invasion. Is this just the westward expansion? Or is there something else that goes on here?
Well, I don't mind that, but in my head, whatever this is what begins yet another sojourn for us that will then end with us in Savannah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that the westward expansion would necessarily run us out of New Orleans.
Oh, no. I know what it is. New Orleans, 1890. Hi, you want to know why Columbus Day exists? Because a bunch of white racists decide to lynch a bunch of Southern Italians in New Orleans. And a very well-meaning individual tries to prevent a riot by saying, "We need it. Don't you know that Italians are important? We need an Italian holiday." It wasn't a great holiday.
Kind of went south, but yes, I like that because we've set it up with the scandal, right? We don't really care that we've lost this influence, but the fact is, like, it has the potential to cause problems because people now are eyes on us.
Exactly.
This happens, and we're like, no, we're not waiting for this to go bad like it has every other time. We're just out.
Yeah, and it makes sense because then you've got a loss of reputation and people and wealth, and I think it's just a case of, like, you have people die in the riots.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's let's see, what is our people go down by 2 points. Okay, yeah. So it does, it's like a few people and it's crossfire, right? Because at this point I don't think the family is ready for, like, overt displays of any sort of anything, to be honest.
No, but
so that makes it so much worse. It's crossfire and we lose a couple and we're like, nah.
And
we're out.
I'm gonna say something. White racist assholes who are the cause of this don't see a lot of difference between people who look like Mexican and look like Sicilians.
Exactly. So all of this is just writing on the wall.
It's just,
and we're out.
There's just not a, okay, so riots, family, some members of the family die in the riot, and and the family leaves. Yeah.
And I think maybe, I mean, it takes us 20 years to get, I mean, I guess it doesn't have to.
I think, would it just be fair to say that maybe you guys were living in Georgia in general, and World War I, which is, 20 years later, but a lot of people die in World War I that caused a population shift, right? And, like, people are moving around. So moving into the city of Savannah makes a lot of sense at that point.
Yeah, and some sort of favor really gives us an exciting fresh start there. I mean, we gain a ton of land, we gain a ton of reputation, we gain a ton of influence. Oh, interesting. So it isn't, I mean, the land is a financial thing, but a lot of it is also
and land is important.
Social.
Yeah. But it's like what gives you back this point of all of this land that you've lost throughout.
Right. Right.
And
And then in the next moment we're going to expand that even more. So where does it come from?
is it because again, you do this favor, and in like the book gives you this definition of like your family gained the favor of a king, their lord, a powerful religion, or one other powerful body. As a result, their fortunes improved and they climbed in status. This favor might result from naming a family member to high position in a larger kingdom, or such as a high priest or a member of imperial guard, whatever. But is it something as simple as like because the families become kind of like low level, uh, uh, not influencers, but like willing to use their abilities to influence change on a small level when they think it's important for them.
Sure, yes.
Would it even be something as simple as like saving the right person's life on a trench in France?
Oh, that's interesting.
That gets you like, I can't give you a lot of money, but I have this extra piece of land that my family has and we can give it to you.
I think that's a good starting place because it is significant but small.
Mm-hmm.
And our next two events are really going to give us, I mean, Conquest is a bit of a mixed bag, but like we're kind of just going up from here after we arrive in Savannah.
Yeah.
So starting sort of simple like that makes sense to me.
Okay. Member saves someone influential. Life in the trenches in France, paid in land, right?
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah.
And I think it would be like we can figure out who that is after the fact or after.
Sure. Okay. Where is this? Okay. Conquest, huh?
Yeah, conquest.
I mean, so we're expanding our place in Savannah. We are gaining what? We're gaining influence, wealth, people, and land. And losing fairly significantly some reputation and some magic. Oh, that's interesting. What's our touchstone event for 1928?
The stock market collapse.
Oh, duh.
It's okay. Well, like,
interesting.
Because here's the thing: do you lose reputation because you gain wealth in the stock market collapse?
Yes. And interestingly, we also lose magic, which I think has to be connected. How? We've already done the like shitty goes against our heritage patriarch. So I don't think it's that.
Is it like that's the thing is like, is this okay? And is this the fourth patriarch is still in power, right? Or are they?
I think so. I mean, if we need to get rid of him for this moment, we can. But I had sort of thought that he was, or that they, I guess, are still going to be around.
Yeah, we're using patriarch just because of.
Oh, totally. But I imagine that they're still around because they're my favorite because they're the one that brings us back to our heritage. So so they can stick around.
Is this a case of? Do they die?
Oh.
And that's the loss of magic that ties into.
And so it's just sort of an unfortunate
coincidence
of two big events, which is for whatever reason, in whatever way, maybe it's not even anything nefarious, we come out of the crash financially somehow better, which happened to people, mostly not for great reasons, but and also, however, in that moment, as if a sort of cosmic, scale, we lose number 4.
Yeah. Because I think it just, I don't know that I think maybe some people in the family think it's a cosmic scale.
Sure.
But I think it's
just,
how do they die though? Is it just natural causes, or is it something like a motor vehicle accident, something that's entirely looks innocuous, but people have ideas about it being not?
So my hesitation is, I'm wondering if it should take more to kill whatever we are.
I think it should take more.
Okay.
Because we've established that what caused the death of that first patriarch was the Spanish coming, and he fought against them, and there was an active killing of this individual.
Yep.
We haven't had the death of any of these others even mentioned.
This keeps sticking around. Yeah. Okay. So then,
is this a case? Is this a case of where it publicly, in the newspaper, it reads that this individual died in a in a car accident?
Sure.
But everybody in the family's he can't have just died that way. He had to have been murdered.
And even better, and it's a mystery for us.
Yeah, because nobody knows.
Great. Yes. I like that.
Okay, so family benefits financially.
Yes, I like that. Because then there's all kinds of, because then the family can sort of split into factions about what they think happened, right?
Yeah,
it was somebody who was upset about us gaining money. It was someone who was upset about us having that much magical power. It was a white person who was upset at us having any magical power. It was
a lot of those. A lot of things of these exists. Was this, somebody said, there are rumors that it was because of, insurance well, no, not really insurance. Quite the same time in insurance.
Sure.
Benefits from the crash at the same time the 4th patriarch fourth patriarch dies officially in a car accident.
Yep.
The family questions.
Yep.
All right. So then let's lead to the very important question. Number 4 is dead. Number 2 stepped back. But they're nominally, we don't know if they're still alive or not. They were there. 3 we know came back. Is now who has power in 1941?
Oh, interesting.
Or is it somebody entirely new?
We could have an entirely new one. If we're bringing back an old one, I think it needs to be number 2.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because they're the one...
Here, if I may make a recommendation.
By all means, yes.
If you want to bring number 2 back, we still haven't allotted that infrastructure 6 die. If you put that 6 in magic, that boosts you to the 22. That brings you up a whole other tier into magic. You bring back the patriarch we've already established who has this deep tie to magic, who wanted to do something.
And maybe finally gets it right.
Yeah.
Yes, I like it. We bring 2 back. 2 was always of all of us. I mean, even more than 4, was always the most powerful, just not always the smartest about it. And so now they're back and they've had 200 years to figure shit out.
Well, 200 years to figure stuff out, but it's also 1941 in the lore. I have to talk to Noah, who's Sheathmaker, because he's Native Hawaiian. But what I did was say that there was something, the point at which you could no longer hide was that there was a bunch of Native Hawaiians and I want to get the term right because I can know it, but I can never. I'm not thinking of it right now. Who inform the Americans that this attack from Pearl is coming on Pearl Harbor. This attack is coming. This attack is coming. This attack is coming, and they get laughed at. But then it actually happens, and the American army is good at one thing and one thing only. It's like, you told us something was going to happen. We ignored you. Now you say it did happen. Now we are not ignoring you anymore. You're now an asset. Like, so now in 1940, after 1941, magic, you know, the supernatural can't hide anymore. So he's no longer, you know, he is that level of like, I don't have to hide. I don't have to hide that I'm doing this massive ritual and the, you know, whatever. And for him, that I think that's the, you know, reverse from the scandal, right? He did this thing publicly and it caused a problem, versus now I can be in public and do this and have it be a benefit.
Yeah. Yes, I like.
All right. I know we need to wrap up because you have to go.
And I have like 5 or 10 extra minutes after 5 if we need to wrap.
Well, we just need to find some.
We don't have to rush, but
we don't have to rush, but we will have to find out some names. And
oh yes, okay. Well,
that will be the most important part because.
Okay, I will do my best.
Okay, so the new ruler comes back and starts guiding the family. Comes back publicly. Comes back into into the public eye. And starts guiding the family towards a more open magical expression.
Yes, I like it. And that increases both our magic and our reputation because finally our magic is known and accepted widely. Yes, I love all this.
Okay, now you've still got...
Oh yes, the bonus dice.
The bonus dice.
So what makes sense to me, I think our influence is fine where it is. I don't think it makes sense actually for us to be too much higher, just because, in part because of some of the ways that some of the higher levels of influence are described, tied with like money. I actually think we're perfect where we are at 31. So I don't think we need any more of that. I think maybe it does sound like I could, because we're at what, 18 magic right now?
Yes, 18 magic right now.
So I think let's throw the 3 from the bonus die into magic and bump us back up to 21, which is actually where we started, which feels right to me.
Because then that gives you like, again, bringing back that magic that you had lost.
Exactly. Okay, then let's have a look. Land, people, reputation, wealth, and influence.
I mean, any of those ones will bump up the 20 or
right, which is in what, wealth and land?
Yeah.
Well, for right now, let's put 2, because there's 3 ones, right? So let's put 2 of the one. Let's put a 1 in 20 and a 1 on 10.
Yeah.
Just to have those up. We may shift those around, but that's fine. So now our wealth is up a little bit and our land is up a bit, which feels right.
And it shifts you to like your wealth at a 21 is just lower middle class. You know, and
where were we before 10?
10.
I might think. Well, let's keep looking. I might think about. Oh, but I guess I can't get to the next level anyway. There, so that's fine.
Yeah. I don't think you can get. There's no mathematical way you can get to.
Yeah. No.
You can get to the next level in people and HOA. I
mean, we might as well at this point. Now that I've got the things that I feel like based on our story should be good. Yeah. I mean, that's magic and. Well, it's mostly magic and then influence is where we've landed, which I think is right. So let's put a 5 in people. I don't know if for you people is that specifically the household?
It's the house. Well, it's household and any employees that the family has.
Okay. So I think
retainers technically is the way it uses the game in the original core. You know.
Yeah. Okay. So then, I think let's put what? Where are we?
If we put a 5 or a 6 in people, that'll boost it to the next level.
Let's do we got two 5s and a 6 and a 1 and a 1. Okay.
Yeah.
let's do, okay, so let's put the, is this, so what if we did, let's just do, okay, that's easy enough. Let's just do 5 there. I just remembered that I can do this, so
Yeah.
that I can edit.
You can edit.
We'll do a 6 there. I have another 5, is that right?
Yes, and 1.
That there, and the 1. Okay, so we end up with an HOA rating of 13, which is not good, but at least it's not a single digit.
A little well loved, but that just adds character.
Yeah, well, and maybe well loved, right, is partially that we don't take care of it, and also partially just like, I don't know, we're nature spirits, so we don't particularly differentiate, right, between like the lawn and the whatever.
Yeah, it's like, are you really getting into the sculpted hedge maze level of garden club aggressiveness? No.
Right. We are quite influential at 32, which I like.
New money. You're the first in the generation to be accepted into the club, which actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it's the first time in a long time we've had enough of anything to be accepted into the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, wealth, again, 21 is what, lower middle class, because that's where we started, I think.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. We're working our way up. Money is not our primary concern, at least at this point in our history.
Nope.
People is at 21, which is also where we started with the like slightly extended family, right? I think we have like some uncles and grandparents or something.
Yeah, like you, your spouse, your children, your in-laws, parents, and your unwed siblings. So, you know, it's like an
which culturally makes sense, and also because we're also long-lived makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. You've got a bunch of people that are hanging around.
Yeah, I like that. Land, we're at 11, which is just barely in that
you own the house.
Mortgage is high. Oh no, we own the house.
You at 11, you own the house free and clear.
Oh wow, okay. So that could be actually it's
a small house, but you own it free and clear.
Well, hey. Okay, that's great. So we own our house, which I think makes sense. We've been here in Savannah for long enough that we've managed to do that. 16 in reputation. So again, that middle range.
16 reputation. Bless their hearts. Your family's historical scandals still influence opinions, but your attempts to overcome have been noted.
I mean, yeah, we're starting to build back, so that makes sense to me. And then magic is again where we started, which is I think some magic that occasionally skips to generation or something was the description.
Yeah, established family with a small wellspring of magic that occasionally.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I also think it's very funny that we are in exactly the same category in every single stat except for influence as we started in 1526.
Sometimes that happens just the way it works, but it's like
I think it's great. And actually the story that we've built about this family who like was run out of town and wandered around trying to figure out what the hell they were doing for 400 years. I think it makes it very interesting for your story that this family is finally in a place where they have just managed to scrape back to where they started. And so
we'll see what
is next is exactly right, is wide open. There is every opportunity that they finally, for the first time in 400 years, can make some positive trajectory, or maybe the cycle starts again. I don't know. But I like this sort of cyclical nature of this family. I think that's very cool.
We will definitely see how that goes. I just need some names from you.
Oh God, I'm so bad at this. Okay.
So I think the original ruler is their name is probably would have to be in dialect. Right?
Yes, I believe so. So let's
that makes the most sense to me at this point.
I think so. Let's name him. And I think it will be a him. His name is, and I will put it in the document, and then you can put it wherever else you would like it.
Yeah, that works.
But his name is Irepani. It is in 1526.
Oh, there we go.
The first time the name is mentioned in the and so that is a Purepecha word kind of that actually literally means founder.
That works. And I will need you to say that again 4 times.
Irepani.
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 Irepani. All right.
That's it.
There we go. See, I will get this. We'll get this.
You got it. I know.
All right. So we have them.
I like it.
He dies. We'll figure out who is ruler number 2 who comes back again.
Now, oh right. Wait,
Yeah.
wait. Ruler number 2 who comes back again to lead the good things. Okay,
Yeah.
so this one.
Yeah, at the end he comes back. But ruler number 2, who is that? And is his name in? It would still be a Paracha.
Purepecha, yeah, I think
Purepecha
so.
Name.
I think so.
I think the only one who wouldn't be is 3.
I think that's probably right. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think both of. Why don't we name them? Her name is.
Oh, hey, DC. Welcome in, everybody from DC.
Hey,
and
DC.
Tanya.
Her name is Eri. Eri. E-R-I.
E-R-I?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to...
And I think it's probably short for some complicated Purepecha word, but she goes by Eri.
E-R-I.
Mm-hmm. And
hi, everybody. We're building a house and having all these things. Oh, hey, Steven! Thank you for that.
Oh, Steven!
Thank you. Thank you. Eugenio is very kindly helping me build a house for my new game that I am working on, which is a Southern Gothic urban fantasy game. Urban fantasy set in Savannah, Georgia, starting in 1945 and spanning to the year 2000.
Yeah.
Adding some color.
Nightmare number 3. His name is Carlos.
Of course it is. Okay. Carlos. He is a conformist. Does he? Yeah. Okay. Look. What is the last name that he forces on the family?
Oh, yes, that's a good question. Let me, you know what? I'm going to be completely honest. I am Googling Spanish surnames and picking the most generic one I can find.
But yes, I've been doing a bunch of these, and it's really great because I can, but Garcia isn't actually...
Let's make it worse. Not only is he a conformist who does all this terrible stuff, right, and does the thing, but he also, for a family of literal celestial non-Catholic beings, he makes the family take the last name Iglesias. Which, for those of you who do not speak Spanish that are watching, means churches.
I am here for this.
Yeah. Yeah, he's really like, we're gonna do this. They're gonna think we're Spanish and they're gonna love us.
I-G-L-E-S-I-S, correct?
I-G-L-E-S-E-A-S, or I-A-S, yes.
S-I-A-S, right?
Hang on, Iglesias. There you go. It's in the Zoom chat because I can't spell out loud to save my life.
Okay, good. I'm not the only one. Okay, good.
No,
I did have it right.
I'm so bad at it.
I had it right. Yes. For those you should definitely check out the VOD. It'll be going up on YouTube and it'll be stitched together because apparently we had a small burp in the middle and yes, I apologize about it. But it'll be stitched together when it goes up on YouTube. And patriarch number 3 of this family decided to be super conformist and attempt to pass as not good things. Yeah, you missed a lot, but don't worry. I have to talk to Tanya about that anyways. About a thing, because I have to.
A thing.
Yeah. All right. So okay. So this is Carlos moves the family to Louisiana, and then someone in the family gains favor with the privateers. So Carlos, I don't think it's Carlos. I don't think Carlos looks at a privateer and sees them as beneficial.
No.
And I don't think it's Erie. I think Carlos he's become that much of a conformist that he is publicly that big of a misogynistic asshole.
Yeah.
Because he is that level of conformist.
Yeah, exactly.
Particularly in 1789. So it has to be someone. Now the question is, do they have a Spanish name or do they have a?
I think maybe it's Carlos's like sons or something. Yeah. Okay. And so they do also have a very Spanish name. They are come on, Yuge, you can do better than Juan.
Look, if you make me say Juan Iglesias on stream,
oh my god,
at least it's not
Should
Enrique.
I? It's true. It's true. No, we'll be kind and say that his name is. Oh, es Eduardo, which has the added benefit of being easily translated into English.
Oh yeah, there we go. For a gentleman who wants to Eduado, right? Yeah.
Oh, I'm Eduardo. There you. Oh nope, that's wrong. Eduardo.
Yeah. Oh,
There you go.
I was right.
Transposed. Yeah.
I'm getting good at this. Okay. So that leads us to number 4, patriarch number 4, who does mostly good things for the family, and then unfortunately will have some complications.
So she again, I think.
Yeah, after Carlos decides to bugger off and join Spain.
She is
Napoleon.
Maybe she has like a very traditional name. So maybe she is I'm trying to think of like okay, I'm gonna put the Purepecha word for hummingbird because I think it's a really beautiful word.
Oh, that works.
It's Sinsun, but I would love to find like a somewhat more. I want to massage the name into something a little less like specifically from the Purepecha language. You know what I mean?
So if we get
Sinsun. Oops, only one N, but anyway, I'll put it in chat. Sinsun.
Well, it's not Sophia, but like, what do we get that's kind of like gonna lean? Well, French. What do we? Oh, what's in French?
Oh yeah.
Because they're in New Orleans, right? And then because like if we can get something that like it again, that classic example of somebody taking something that sound. Oh, if we go Cajun names.
Oh, yeah.
Because
let's see. Oh no. Here we go. She's a lady. Let's look at this. Oh, come on, internet. You can do it. Load that page. There you go. I mean, Cecile is close.
Or Sylvain.
Cece.
There's also Sylvain.
Sylvain. Let me scroll down to this. Seraphine.
Or Servain.
Susette. Servain. Susan. I almost want it's the double S that I think is the most like recognizably of Sinsun for me.
Is it as simple as Suzette?
Yes, it is. But it is Suzette, S-U-Z.
Yeah.
And it is. Hang on, I got to see this written out. No, yeah, it's just S-U-Z.
Yeah, it's S-U-Z, and I think that's where it is. It's Suzette, and it becomes because if you get Sissoon and it's Sissoon, Susie.
Yeah, and maybe they call her, you know, Suzu, or
like
her grandchildren call her CC or something like that, and like the family knows that they're saying it TZ and not S, right? Like, it's
thanks you for that follow, Rex.
Hey, Rex.
Yeah, because like in Italian it would be like the name for aunt is Sia.
Right.
TZ. Right. In Sicilian, it's TZIA. It also or ZIA, depending on where you're spelling it. Okay, so I need to pull this and copy, and then called Zet by the locals, sometimes CC.
There you go.
because you know
All
that way.
right.
All right.
You need anything else from me?
We need number 4, and that's it.
That wasn't number 4?
Oh no, that is number 4. Yeah, everybody else,
Okay.
we're good. We're all good.
Like, I'm so bad at names, so maybe 2 more.
No, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. This is where we're gonna actually end for tonight. We're gonna say goodbye to Eugenio and let you. Thank you for being here. I know you have to go.
Thank you for having me, and I'm sorry that I do have to run off so quickly, but this has been awesome, and I'm so excited to hear more about this game and see what happens once you start playing. This is great.
We'll see what happens. Tell everybody where they can find you, do all the spiel stuff, and then I'll do my spiel quickly at the end.
Sure. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I am DM Jazzy Hands here on Twitch and on Twitter. I do stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays on my channel. You can come hang out. We're playing through Resident Evil 4 Remake right now, but we switch games all the time, so come hang out there. You can also find me every other Sunday, including this Sunday, on Rivals of Waterdeep, a Dungeons & Dragons actual play show. We go live this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Rivals of Waterdeep. And on Monday nights, every Monday night, you can find me over at Codename Entertainment CNE Games Twitch channel, where I run yet another D&D stream called A Familiar Quest, where I am the DM for 4 adorable, chaotic familiars who are traversing the world in search of a friend of theirs right now. So that's where you can find me these days on the internets.
I just need you to know, when somebody decides to cast Polymorph on Scotty, it needs to be a shark.
I will write that down now.
And you need to have...
There are ways that my NPCs will be able to do that at some point, so now I know.
Because it needs to be a shark. You can also pull up have Kelly share with you a very particular picture, because or video of Scotty being introduced to Long Island Sound in a shark life preserver.
Perfect. I love it.
I'm sorry, I needed to throw that.
I love
there.
it. I love it.
So that is that. But yes. Sense of time on that thing. All right. As for me, hey everybody who came over on that raid, thank you very much. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax at Dearjadon on Twitter, or Praxagorth as me4 as you see me around here on Twitch. And I run tabletop games on Saturdays and Sundays, and do random pop-up streams during the week. You can find me next tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, here for the final 3 episodes of Season 2 of A Song of Agapia's Fortune, our high-level D&D game set in the homebrew world that I created. They are currently trying to move an army up a mountain to find a way into the mountain to deal with a lich problem that's been there for about 15 years that nobody knows about. And they have a small Death Knight riding on a spectral dragon to deal with first. You know, just little things. And then Sunday, the final 3 episodes of the final season of Witcher Roads Home, my Witcher High TTRPG. If any of this sounds like something you were interested in or want to check out, or you want to check out what we did today, 1 second, really? There. Good. There we go. There we go. Give a shout out for Eugenio. There you go. Follow Eugenio. And then, finally worked. But if you missed any of it and you want to check out what we did today, or you want to check out any of the other VODs of the other guests that I've had, and hopefully we'll be having soon in the future, but I have to talk to some people. Those are over on YouTube. You can check them out. And other than that, check my Twitter, because that's supposed where I'm going to be. And the fun, wonderful, fabulous folks like this person I get to hang out with and tell stories. Until next time, everybody. I checked. I don't think there's anybody live at the moment, unless somebody else has got somebody else we can raid.
Let's see if I've got anybody up. I was about to be like, oh my god, Prax is on. Oh, you know who's live? Let's see how long he's been live. Gabe is live playing Wild Frost, that game that came out a couple days ago.
Here we go. Yeah.
You go over and hang out with Gabe. Well,
yeah, let's go raid Gabe.
Bounce, but...
Oh, look, it's like we're gonna the De La Shelves are gonna go bother a.
Yes. I love it.
Okay,
I love it.
We're here. We're have a great time, everybody. Thank you for coming in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.